It's almost Christmas, about 2 weeks, and I'm going to show you today a very classic Deutsch Christmas dinner. So what Deutsche essen? What do they eat on Christmas Eve? Number one Christmas meal in Deutschland is Würstchen mit Sauerkraut, and the number two is I forgot. What is number two? Forgot. But number three, this is huge, is goose, roasted goose with Rotkraut, is it? Richtig?
Rotkraut, yeah.
Rotkraut, so it's a red cabbage sauerkraut-ish dish as a side dish with Knödel. And Knödel is used potato, sometimes bread and mixed, and I'm just going to use the instant pre-made Knödel, but I will make my own roast goose, and hopefully you enjoy this recipe for Christmas. Here is the beast we're going to cook today. Yes, it's a whole Gans. In English is goose, and we're going to take a whole goose, around 4 to 5 kilograms, so it's really heavy. And I wanted to get fresh goose, but in Deutschland, although it's ready for Christmas, you wouldn't be able to get this until around the 22nd or the 23rd of December. That's why I bought a frozen goose, and I just defrosted overnight, and it's kind of soft inside already, and we're going to open this, wash it, and dry it properly. We will need lots of salt and pepper to seasoning our goose. Here are the two main herbs we're going to use to roast our goose. This in English marjoram, and the other one in English is mugwort. But I can't get it in the supermarket here. That's why I just used these Lille Pige, and you can tell me how it's called in English. But these are the two herbs we're going to stuff in our goose. We will also need some sour fruits. And here I use 200 grams of plum. You can also use orange. And we're going to wash this and remove the core inside. We will also need some sour apple. You can use green apples, but here I just got some from my mother-in-law. They grow this in the garden. 1 large onion, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 star anise, 3 tablespoons of flour. I made this myself. 4 slices of bacon. We're going to put this on top of our goose when we are roasting it. 4 slices of dry white toasts, and you can just leave your toasts outside to dry them. 3 whole eggs, 2 tablespoons of honey. So here is our goose. Give you an idea how big our goose is. Here is my hand. So it's about 3 times bigger as my hand. Goose is really fat, this one, or in general, but they are also delicious. So we have to clean this properly. Here you could see I dried it with kitchen towel, even though it's still quite moist. Maybe let me just flip it over. You could see here is a hole, and I tried to take out all the fat, some of the skins, the guts, so everything is out. And we probably could dry it again with a kitchen towel, just make sure it's completely dried. So let's do the salt first. We're gonna need a lot of salt. It's probably not enough, but just give it a generous amount, from top to the bottom, from inside to the outside, so everywhere. And we give it a massage, so make sure it's covered everywhere with our salt and pepper. Now our pepper. Now we can flip it over and do the other side. So after we seasoned our goose, we're going to set it aside and continue to prepare some other ingredients. Wash our herbs properly and we're going to cut them to fine pieces. Remove the core of our plum and cut it to smaller sizes. So put everything in one bowl. Remove the skin of our apples. Cut our apple to 4 pieces and remove the seeds. After cleaning our apple properly, we're going to cut them to smaller cubes. Now we can remove the skin of our onion and cut it also to smaller cubes. Now cut our toasts to cubes as well. Crack our 3 eggs into a bowl. Beat our eggs. Soften our white toasts cubes in our egg. Adding 2 tablespoons of sugar. It's quite a lot of sugar. And mix it well. Adding a couple of our star anise. A pinch of Chinese 5 spices. If you don't have this, you can just skip this. But I have a video on how to make your own 5 spices. After mixing our white toast completely, and it's softened, now we can add in the other veggies and fruits we just cut to cubes earlier and just put them in. Here I just transferred everything to a larger bowl and we're just going to mix everything together and just use our hand, and this will be the stuffing for our goose. Just make sure the egg is covered with all the other filling together and our herbs totally combined with all the other ingredients. Now here we have our whole goose and we just seasoned it with salt and pepper earlier. Now we can put in the stuffing, and this is just easier with a hand. We're just trying to put our filling inside of our goose. And you need a large goose to be able to fill in all the filling. Now you can see my stuffing is empty and or transferred into our goose, and it's filled. Now it just our fat goose becoming fatter, and now we can try to tie our goose together and close it properly in order to bake it in the oven. So you will need some kitchen wire. I bought this from Horstmann. It's a German druggery and they sell some baking and cooking stuff as well. And we're going to use the string to tie the 2 legs of our goose together. So I'm trying to do this as pretty as possible, but all you want is just tie these 2 legs together, and those 2 pieces of skin, we are going to close it as well. This will just make sure our filling is in place and they're not going to falling apart when we are roasting our goose. You can do a few times so they're tied properly. And now we can just make a knot. It doesn't have to be pretty. Okay, here I just have some regular toothpick and nothing fancy. Then we can just use a couple to sew our goose, these 2 pieces of skin together, just to close it up. Gonna need a bit of strands here in order to close it up properly. Okay, If you have a needle, kitchen use needle, you can also just knead it, use our kitchen wire. Before roasting our goose in the oven, we're going to pan fry it to use our lard. So set our pan on medium-low heat, and we're just going to melt our lard first. We need a pretty large pan for our goose. Here is the largest pan I have. So we are going to fry our goose on all sides. So here is our goose after pan frying. You can see I've tried my best to cover all the pieces, every inch of the skin of our goose. But my pan is just too small. But now we're going to set our oven at 200 degrees Celsius, and we're going to roast this beast for 2.5 hours. But this really depends on how heavy your goose is. So the bigger, the larger your goose is, takes generally longer. So here is our goose. You can see I put a tray underneath just to get the grease and the liquid come out of our goose. And every now and then, you should take this fat and just pour it over again. This will make sure our goose is crispy on the outside. And also it's preventing the skin from drying out. So maybe every 30 minutes. Once you have done this, after about an hour, and we're going to take our goose half out. And then here we have some bacon. This is just regular bacon. We're going to put this on top, careful, on top of the chest of our goose. And this will also prevent it from drying out. And then we're going to put this back and continue cook this for about 1.5 hours. While roasting our goose in the oven, we're going to make some traditional side dish, German side dish, which is red kraut. So we're going to need 1 kilo of red cabbage, and we're going to clean it and cut it to small sizes. 50 grams of pig fat, and this is the same one I just used to pan fry our goose, so we can reuse this for our side dish. 1 teaspoon of salt, sea salt, 75 grams of sugar, 75 milliliter of vinegar. Here I use balsamic vinegar. You could also use any kind of white vinegar. 1 onion. We're going to peel this, clean this. 1 bay leaf and a couple of cloves. To cook our red cabbage, we're going to put in our pig fat or melted lard, adding our washed and smaller cut red cabbage into our pan, and we'll need to put in 75 milliliter of water. You can just use cold water. 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 75 grams of sugar, 75 milliliter of vinegar. Now we're going to cook this and bring it to boil. Now our red cabbage start boiling. You see, it's very steamy. Now we can add in our onions. Here I just peel them to smaller pieces, and by the way, if you work with red cabbage, this would happen. You get really purple nails, but don't be scared. And now we're just adding all of our onions, and we can also just adding our bay leaves and cloves or our spices, and we're going to close the lid and continue cook for 30 minutes. So before our goose about to finish, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of honey, a pinch of salt, 1 tablespoon of water. Here is boiling water. I just cooked it. And we're going to mix this well. I'm going to brush this honey water on top of our goose before it's finishing. Now you can see my goose is almost done after almost 2 hours. And the only way to tell if it's ready is to see the skin is brown and look crispy. Then it's finished. It is that simple. So now, before we're taking it out, we're going to brush some honey on top. This will make our goose really glanced. Is it glanced? So it's also give it a bit sweetness. Also help with the color. We're just going to put it on all over. Now we're just going to leave it in our oven for another about 15 minutes, then we can take it out. So here is my whole goose. Gans. I was trying to say this in the supermarket today and it's really funny. Gans. But it's huge. It's 5 kilograms. And it's really crispy right now and it's stuffed. Look, the filling is almost coming out and all you want is this crispy dark and brown goose. Besides of this, we have our red cabbage. I don't know why it's called red because literally it's purple. And when you get the juice out of it, it's kind of blue. But anyway, it's called red cabbage, so in German. And my Knödel. And this is a classic deutsche Weihnachtsabendessen. So hopefully it's correct. I'm using a Oma's Rezept. So it's grandma's recipe. There are many different recipes out there and just using this one and hopefully you will enjoy this recipe. And please let me know what's your typical Christmas dinner in your country and leave your comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up as well and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thanks for watching. See ya. Did you subscribe yet? If not, click here. Click here, click here. Every day, watch new videos at 6 p.m. Here are my recommended videos. Thanks for watching. 谢谢大家。